Hey you guys, week 21, one of my favorite weeks, really. I know there's a lot of steps here, but it's very simple. Just take it one station at a time. The kids are gonna really love this. So our goals are that our students would leave knowing what a mineral is, and then also that they would practice and be able to identify 4 ways to identify a mineral. And those 4 aspects of mineral identification, for a better term, will be luster, transparency, hardness, and streak. Okay, so those are the 4 aspects that we are going to explore on mineral identification. So start off by talking about what is a mineral. You guys in our tutor meeting should have your notes from that and go over, that it's an inorganic compound, it's naturally formed, has a particular chemical composition, a crystal structure, and physical properties. And then you can ask questions like, is a cow a mineral? No, because animals are living and minerals are not living. But don't just ask for the no, ask for the why. After we explain for the older kids, right? Maybe I even think our littles can do it. That we're saying that it's inorganic, that means it's not living. So can a cow be a mineral? No, because it's living, right? Okay. So what do minerals do? Again, this should be in your, this is in your information from our tutor meeting. Minerals are like the Legos of nature. We put them together and you can build all kinds of things. And is a rock a mineral? Well, rocks are minerals, different minerals put together. Where do we see minerals? We can talk about that. Make sure you talk about that a geologist is a scientist who studies rocks and land to learn about the earth. And today our students get to be geologists as they learn ways that geologists study minerals. So just go through our document to read, and then, all right, here at station 1, we're going to be talking about luster. Luster is a word that tells us how light is reflected off of something. And we can divide minerals into categories by their luster: glassy, metallic, and dull. So you can explain what each of those are and let the students look at the samples here and shine a flashlight onto them. The lighting is really bad with this. Don't worry about right or wrong answers necessarily, but this element or this mineral here, which is this one, I don't know how to pronounce that actually. Well, somebody will. This is very dull. The light doesn't reflect off of it at all. Trying to make it so it's not so bright. The light doesn't reflect off of it at all. But this one, let's see if you can see it. I hold it up close. No, I think you can you see that? Those little flecks? The light reflects off of that one. Here is this mineral, which is very glassy, where the mineral not only goes through it, but then also reflects off of it. See that? And so forth. This is gypsum rose. There's some glassy sort of flecks in here, but it's considered a dull mineral. None of these are considered metallic except for the copper. The copper is the one considered metallic. The other one considered metallic is the pyrite at the other station. Okay, so you're going to talk about luster. You're going to let the kids shine their flashlight on there. Maybe you will shine the flashlight or give the kids a turn to do that. Then you're going to talk about transparency and introduce the vocab to your students, the transparency vocab of opaque, transparent, and translucent. Again, the information about all of these are in your notes. Please use those. What I really want you to remember is less is more in here. I would really encourage you to have them repeat the grammar, have them repeat the words, because remember in week 22, they are going to be using these tests to identify the minerals. So it's going to be important that they remember the names of these tests and they remember some of the words like opaque, translucent, and transparent. So do some say and repeat there too. All right, so that's luster and transparency. And again, you know, you shine the light up, like you can see. This one, obviously you can see right through it. But this one, while light does pass through it, you can definitely see light through here. You can't see an object through it. So that is the difference between translucent and translucent and transparent. So this amethyst is transparent, where this muscovite mica is translucent. Okay, all right, and the rest of them are all opaque. You can also, if you really wanted to, bring over the quartz for this, and you can see how some areas of the quartz are transparent and some area of the quartz is translucent. Okay. All right, moving on to station number 2. Station number 2 is about hardness. And hardness, I found my page, the hardness of the mineral tells us how strong it is against other minerals. And we use the Mohs scale to compare minerals to each other. That was developed in 1812 by scientist Frederick Mohs. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to examine the mineral, and then we're going to start by testing it against our fingernail and work upwards through the common items, these ones right here, fingernail, penny, glass plate, and steel nail, until we narrow the hardness range of the mineral. And we want to go in order because it would be really unfortunate to totally scratch up a mineral with a steel nail that was scratchable with our fingernail. So let's try to do that, going in order of the fingernail, then the penny, then the glass plate, and the steel nail. And then finally, putting them in order by softest to hardness. And if you want a little cheat sheet, there it is right there. These are the order. I don't know why this shows up yellow. It's this white mineral right here, just so you know. Okay, so how do we do it? Let's see if I can do this one-handed. All right, so to test it with your fingernail, you just simply scrape it with your fingernail. You guys will remember that from the tutor meeting. And you'll see if your nail scratches the mineral, then your nail is harder than the mineral. And that puts your mineral at less than a 2.5. Does that make sense? Because your fingernail is harder. So my nail is not going to scratch this. Let's see if it can scratch the penny. This is very hard to do one-handed. Let's see here. Okay, so this mineral made that scratch on the penny. So which one is harder? This mineral is harder than the penny. So we know that it's harder than the penny. Let's check the glass plate. So we put our glass plate here and we scratch it. And you're not looking to dig into it, but rub it on there and scratch it and see if it leaves a scratch that does not go away, and it does not. So this mineral is between 3 and 5.5. All right, do the same thing with this one. Can it scratch with your nail? No. Can it scratch the penny? Yes. Can it scratch the glass plate? No. I just happen to know this. This is the, I do not know how to pronounce this word. Why do I keep picking these? This word that I don't know how to pronounce, feldspar. So again, if we scratch here, it does leave a small scratch on the glass plate. So it's a little harder than the glass plate. But when we scratch it with the nail, right, when we use our nail to scratch this, the steel nail that is, the nail scratches this mineral. So it's probably pretty close to a 5.5 since it didn't leave a big scratch, and so forth. Do the same thing with the pyrite and the quartz. The nail does not scratch the quartz. At least it shouldn't when you just rub it like that. If you dig into it, it certainly will. But if you rub it, it does not scratch. And I don't know, we'll have to look and see on the pyrite. And of course, each mineral can vary slightly. So that's that. Okay, streak test. Streak test is super fun. All right, streak test. All right, by pushing a mineral, well, yeah, by pushing a mineral against, here we go, against the streak plate, we are able to determine what color the powder of the mineral is. And I think I'm going to use this for an example because it's the best example. Pyrite. What color streak will this one leave? A lot of people would say gold, right? Because it's golden. But when we do it, it is a black streak. Let's see, can you see that? There you go. It's a black streak, and this is one of the surefire ways to tell pyrite from gold, because real gold does not leave a black streak, and yet pyrite does. So when we ground this mineral into a powder, it is going to be black. A lot of the other ones are what you would expect. That's a dusty red. This is a white mineral. Doesn't really show up on there, but shows up on there. And quartz is clear. What kind of streak is that going to leave? You won't see it on the white, but you can see it on the black, that it leaves a white streak. So when we grind this up into a powder, it's white. Okay, so the activity is, for this, we'll have 2 sets of these. So you can put them into groups of 4 and have them take turns with the minerals, or you can just have them, take one mineral and pass it down from person to person to person. It's really up to you how you want to run that in your class. But let's see, here we go. So when you rub the streak, use a corner or an edge of the mineral and then observe closely. And this is a really good opportunity to do hypothesis. What color streak do you think it will leave? And those sorts of things. And so those are the 3 stations. If you end up having extra time, I would really recommend you go back and say, okay, well, what are the 3 aspects of luster? And hopefully they will, with your help, remember glassy, metallic, and dull. And then talk about what are the 3 aspects of transparency we talked about. And they can hopefully say opaque, transparent, and translucent. These are big words for some of these kids. So going over it again will be very helpful. And again, it will lead into our activities on week 22, which I'm going to do a video when I come back from my cruise. All right, girls, I will see you on the 18th.